Thanksgiving Eve to you.
Happy Eve. Absolutely, for everybody.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't know if we've started on YouTube yet.
Okay, well, I guess we'll get there eventually.
YouTube lags behind.
Yeah, lags. Minutes later, you're finally there, and you're like, oh, 20 people.
Hello, Doug, and hi, Mom. Yeah, it's weird that you guys aren't here, but you'll be here in 2 days. So, uncomfortable silence.
You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? In the meantime. But, hey, uncomfortable silence.
Happy Thanksgiving Eve, everyone.
Uncomfortable silence because of ugly sweaters, or because, and I don't think this is particularly ugly, that's just the term, or because of interesting headgear, I was about to grab my usual, and she says, there's one on top of the tree.
See, tonight only, when we call him Turkey Head, it's not an insult.
It's really just a descriptor. That's the thing.
Hi, Jennifer. Good to see you.
Hey, Turkey Head.
Oh.
Hey.
Oh, happy Thanksgiving to the whole McDonough clan. And hi, Lisa Errol. Hello. Happy Thanksgiving to you guys.
Uh-huh. Oh, that's true. Yes, you got a whole tomorrow thing happening.
Hi, Peter. Happy Thanksgiving.
The old homestead. That's because he's an old cowhand on the Rio Grande. That's right. Actually, wasn't Joe born in Texas? I think I'm right about that. He's an old cowhand from the Rio Grande.
Wait, I lost the thread of the conversation.
Yeah. I was talking about they're gathering there at the old at the Palm household. I'm like, the old homestead.
Devin.
It is the old homestead after all.
Aw.
Yep.
Hello. Oh, you gotta clean. I know I gotta clean too.
Oh, jeez.
I'll be cleaning tomorrow-ish.
We've been doing a lot of preparation, you might say. First of all,
hi, Lisa.
You know this joint. You know the fact that you don't see a lot of trees behind us just indicates that they're over there somewhere. Yeah, they are. Some things have started to go up already because this one here thought I could drive myself completely crazy or I could start doing this. Well, I thought there's no need for craze.
The place is a mess, but it will soon be a Christmas wonderland.
No time at all.
Hi, Eric, and hi, Bill. Good to see you guys.
Hey. One thing we did do finally was get the dang ACs out of the dang windows, and that's just a lot of dead weight. I mean, they just weigh half a ton, so we just have to haul them out. And
half a ton.
We got one of them in the
cellar.
They
weigh 1,000 pounds each.
1,000 pounds, but we did get one completely out of there, and the other two are actually out of the windows. We're not leaking anymore. There's that period, and this year it seemed to be really a fine line between you go to bed and you're like, wow, I'm really hot. You put the AC on, and this is really leaking badly. You got to get that thing out of the window, because we're losing heat. It seemed like that was maybe a week. That just changed right over.
Hi, Dennis. Happy Thanksgiving.
Hey! Aloha, too. Hey, I think I should point out, I was about to drop a line to Dennis, but he's here, so I can do this right now. We apparently didn't have enough trees. Well, this was a casual conversation, and you've heard about the number of trees around here. I believe the last official count, I believe was Kathleen.
Oh, Devin, that sounds nice.
Who was interested.
Hi, Leslie. Good to see you.
Probably 2 or 3 Christmas parties back. And she says, I'm going to go around and count. So she does, and the number at the time was something like 44 or 45. I really don't know.
Hi, Jeff.
I'm going to have to do a real serious count
Happy Thanksgiving.
And check this out. And once everything's up, I'm going to go. But, we had this casual conversation between Remy and Christy, and it's just kind of casually drops the concept of the traffic tree. What do you mean? Oh, the tree that's got all the cars.
I have a new tree this year.
It has a garland of traffic cones. And this is a big gag, except that we're talking about it and suddenly it becomes a reality. Because when we start taking a look, and can you get miniature traffic cones? Yes, you can get miniature traffic cones. And it's you're halfway there.
So we're going to be making traffic cone ornaments.
So we're going to make traffic cone ornaments. So we printed a bunch of stuff over at the Staples the other day because it's nicer looking than what I can.
I just have to interject. Eric says, happy permissive food gluttony day.
Yes!
It's really the permissive food gluttony weekend for us. But
it's going to be several days worth of thingies.
Yes.
Starting with. So, but yeah, it's there's plenty of food. There's a truly astonishing amount of food in this household for the number of people that are to consume it. I believe I did go nuts one of the last times that I picked up.
Hi, T. And hi, Wayne.
A frozen bird over at the supermarket that gives them to you when you spend a lot of money. And I decided to kind of max the poundage, and I think it's 18.5 pounds.
Just what we need.
Just what we need. A hell of a lot of turkey. Well, earlier this year we had a turkey we prepared, and we just, it's 2 of us. even sort of a 12-pound bird is way too much. So I literally hacked off half of like the bird, put it in the freezer, and I think we finally finished that last week. I mean, soup, you know? Like
it wasn't in the fridge the whole time.
It wasn't in the fridge the whole time. That would have been pretty bad. But, you know, from the freezer, finally, like, you know, defrosted, made a couple sandwiches, made some soup. That bird's finally gone. I think you need to actually finish the prior holidays presentation meat before you start on this one. I think that's sort of a good idea. Unwritten rule. Anyway, back to the trees. So we need to happen to need a new tree.
Hi, Amy.
Well, where are we going to get a tree? We're going to get a tree this time of year. Well, so she orders one, and it comes. And interestingly enough, it's made in China. All these things are, right? But the box?
It's kind of big to hold up on camera.
And this should be quite familiar to Dennis. Happens to say...
Just whack a light.
National Tree Company, 1 Commerce Drive, 2 Commerce Drive, Cranford, New Jersey. I think you're well familiar with the local tree plant.
Hi, John.
Hey, we're representing Cranford, baby. Hot stuff.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Who wants a drink?
Who wants a drink?
Who wants a drink?
I could use a drink.
I could use a drink, too.
Let's see.
Oh.
I happen to have...
Without going into detail, it's been quite a week around here. But.
You know, it frequently is quite a week around here, but we're ambitious. Things happen. You know how it is. I still have some dreg of drink.
Oh, Jeff, I totally agree. The sandwich the next day. Oh, Julie loves the hat.
And there you go.
Yeah, it's makes quite a statement, doesn't it?
It's a real statement hat. It's like the presentation meat. This is the presentation hat. And yeah, Dennis does know that plate. We would pass that all the time going all the way to Lunwa. You know, if you go the front way or if you go the back way, you don't pass it. I think it's the back way.
Oh, the green bean casserole. Yeah, I made that.
Well, that was.
We'll be having that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we need to make some space.
Yes, make some space. All right.
Make room.
I want bubbly drinks.
We got bubbles right there.
Life is short. Let's open a bottle of bubbles.
As a matter of fact, you've got bubbles. So I say have bubbly drinks.
I am thinking about a Thanksgiving bubbly drink that I will be creating as I go. All right. Oh, Eric, you got your booster. Good for you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Excellent show.
Yes, it's important to do, I think. All right. Let's uncage these bubbles.
Unleashed!
Unleash them. All right. So, for those of you who aren't familiar with my t-shirt, it's the first annual WKRP Turkey Drop. The best TV Thanksgiving episode ever made. This cage is on here so tight. Ugh.
Do we need tools?
No.
No. Crunch, 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 crunch.
All right,
crunch,
I got it.
Crunch, crunch. Wing! Wing! Ah, that sound.
Hey.
I like.
All right.
Are you building in glass or do you need
I am going to build in glass.
It's a fine place. You need to chill that glass first. 1 cube.
All right, 1 cube.
Give it a swirl. Yeah, then toss it.
I don't know. Should I shake? Nah.
You don't really need to shake. These
I'm not in the mood.
These drinks that are built like this, you really don't need to shake them. So, by the way, of course, this is the fantastic reference to the Thanksgiving television episode that is the best Thanksgiving episode that
ever made of a TV show.
Could be or ever would be. It literally is like that thing, and no one else can top that. More fun.
Ew! This is dirty.
What?
I just grab it off the bar. It's completely sticky.
It's kind of sticky, isn't it?
Ew.
What about, you know what? The other one isn't happening either. How about that?
Maybe you could wash those and bring them back in here. I'll hold down the fort. Oh, Eric, yeah, no bad effects. I've heard that. I didn't have any, as God is my witness, I thought turkeys could fly. Oh, Julie, good. I'm glad you're excited to make your drink. Thank you for donating to our fundraiser.
Excellent, excellent.
As God is my witness, I thought turkeys could fly.
Do you see the pointing the shot over there?
I hit it. It's in the sink.
It's in.
Yeah. What was I going to say? Oh, about WKRP? No, it was about side effects. I didn't have any side effects from the first shot. Paul did. No, I didn't. Second shot. No, I mean like the actual, yeah. The second shot of the first of the vaccine. I didn't have any effects. Paul did. But hopefully he won't have any for the booster because I think it's okay. I'm going to start with tequila. El Jimador tequila. Now, what are the measurements on this baby again?
And medium size one is 3/4, 1 1/4.
Okay. I'm going to do 3/4 of an ounce of my tequila.
Which is truly strange.
Making it light
I
here.
see some recipes that call for that, but 1 1/4. Who the hell ever calls for 1 1/4?
All right. 3/4 of an ounce tequila. Oh, hi, Phil. Good to see you. And let's see. Hi, Jill. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Oh, I love Thanksgiving. Let's see. I'm gonna do. You know what? I'm gonna do Frangelico.
Hey, you know what?
You know what? I'm just gonna do it.
I'm just gonna
Just gonna do it.
gonna go for it. Go for it, Ron. Go for it.
I would say that's around 1/3 of an ounce of Frangelico.
That's a strange measure too.
I know.
But you can eyeball that and be close enough.
And I'm going to do about the same amount of apple liqueur. And this is kind of close to, I did something a few weeks ago that I called fruitcake sangria. This is kind of the same idea, but I'm going to do it with bubbles instead of wine. So far we've got the hazelnut, the apple, the tequila, and some fresh lemon juice. Another 1/3 of an ounce.
It's sounding good so far.
And let's get some bitters in there too. Cranberry bitters.
Excellent way to go. I recommend having the cranberry bitters on hand if you're going to stock up on more than one bottle or just have a few on hand to play with. These are fun to play with. Yeah, they add a lot of flavor, sort of like a rounded berry flavor like you might wish was in there. They do add bitters.
Cardamom bitters.
And cardamom bitters. Wow. Oh, everything's in there. Now you're talking that fruitcake then. And they add a lot of color. They've got like
Amy's going to make her cocktail too. Yay. I'm so happy. Thank you guys so much for donating to our fundraiser. And hi, Sylvia. And Daniel, hello. Good to see you. Yeah. Okay. So, then I'm going to fill with my chill.
We specifically made these for people, kind of based on what people were saying. And we avoided certain ingredients that people said, nope, can't do it. I hear you. I'm not going to give you something that's going to give you anaphylaxis. That's a real negative with a cocktail. No.
Oh, I'm glad you like Frangelico, Eric.
And if it inspires you, we try to also not have 12 obscure ingredients. Like that's
yummy.
I don't need you to have to go out and buy 10 bottles at the Packy because I don't have any of that. It's well, let's keep this reasonable. But like one thing, you're gonna like the apple liqueur. That's a good thing to have on hand.
I'm not passing it to you. That's
okay. That's perfectly fine. I'm going to make something of my own.
I was a little under the weather earlier in the week, so I'm not going to pass my drink to Paul.
Let's see. This is perfectly fine. I know it's 80 proof, et cetera, but I can make my own and need to. Could you call up?
Ooh, Sylvia made bourbon chocolate chip cookies. That sounds so good.
Could you fax some of those to us?
Because oh my God, that sounds great.
I would eat one of those right now.
Sounds really good.
Yeah, that's an excellent idea. And I make that joke every time I talk about passing materials back and forth over the ether waves here. And isn't there a point where it's not going to be much of a joke because no one's going to know what the hell a fax machine is?
You know what? I'll just keep this one.
Keep that there. The heck. The heck.
All right. So what did you want me to bring up?
The whatever we sent to the patrons today. I'd like to see among those classics.
Oh, you know what?
There sound like some really good things that I would just like to make.
There were some classics in there, honestly, if I do say so. Oh, wait. Here we go. Got it. No.
Nope. Wrong. It's in there somewhere.
This computer, man.
Oh, it's in there somewhere. I gotta tell you. I kind of feel like I'm one of these things too myself. I'm just saying.
Well,
you crack a bottle. You're interested to use it.
Do you?
You, boo. So, let's see what we got here. Best of. Da, 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 da. And eventually things start happening and big fun, hey? So there is the fruitcake. Oh, we don't have a wild turkey. That's too bad. Okay, keep going.
We have wild turkey coming.
We do have it coming, yeah. There's the perky. Then you use cream cheese, which you don't have.
Well, you need the syrup.
Oh, yeah, okay.
He's just picking a drink.
I'm just trying to find something from the lineup.
You could do the Mr. T.
I could do that. Okay. And we have the cranberry and flowers. Okay. That's a shake and strain in a cocktail glass. I'll take the tequila, please.
It's right there.
I'll take the tequila on my own because it's right there. It's right there.
Literally right there. Hi, Elizabeth. Good to see you.
I've got it right here.
Transporter baby. I love it.
So, let's start out with...
Daniel says, I'm drinking Hillbilly White Russian, Moonshine, and Yoo-Hoo. That's hilarious.
Big fun.
Oh, Julie's excited to try her drink too. Oh,
excellent.
Hey. I'm so
just
happy.
wetting the whistle here.
We did try all of them.
They were all
We didn't send any inferior drinks.
Well, and here's a real kicker. We didn't actually concoct a beverage and then...
Hi, Roxanne.
And then not try it.
Good to see you.
And you know what? You're thinking to yourself, well, who would do that? Well, a lot of recipe books do that. You'll see a recipe and you're like, oh, that sounds interesting. You try it and it's terrible. And you're like, but it was like 2 sticks of butter. It was terrible. It was a wash in all of this stuff. Why didn't they know that when they made it?
No, I did. Honestly,
because they didn't make it.
I took a cookbook writing class. And the dirty little secret about cookbooks is a lot of those recipes aren't tested.
Untested. So. I think I know, And
why buy a cookbook if they're not tested?
I know. You're a publisher. You got your editors, you got your writers. It's the nth hour. You need 5 more recipes. Quick, come up with something that sounds good. Just give me a chocolate chip cookies with some weird thing thrown in. Bang. And then suddenly you got chocolate chip cookies with corn nuts. And you're like, who the hell came up with that? Well, it was a 3 in the morning decision. Was it dumb? Yeah.
Did it work? No.
No. But did anybody try to see if it worked? No.
We have one cookbook. I think it's the Brady Bunch cookbook. It's the one, it's like got in a comb bound kind of.
That is, yeah, that one is.
Yeah, it's probably, I think it's from the 90s or something. Yeah. And there's a recipe in there for a grits casserole, which is really good, except it has about twice as much butter as it should have. So the first time I made it, there was just this pool of butter floating on the top of the casserole.
A lagoon of butter kicking around.
The butter lagoon.
If this was in the Gilligan's Island cookbook, you'd say, well, there's the lagoon. And still, it's hideous to have that much butter where you're not wanting it. It's one thing if you got, if you're...
I mean, like, you literally had to pour it off. It was that much butter.
Eating artichokes or lobster, you want that much butter. On your grits, it's like, oh, man. Kind of heavy. I'll take a look at what the hell else is.
So I went in and rewrote the recipe.
See how I rock in?
I did.
Yes.
So
I see. Drinking Jarritos. Well, that's a fun place to be. Very, I think they're all naturally flavored sodas. Sugar, so that's a big plus.
You might have to do the spiced pear here, though.
You're
I didn't bring it over.
Okay, so I need the spiced pear and I need the honey liqueur. And I need the lime juice. I can put the lime juice in.
Yeah.
I can do one thing anyway. Oh, that's a good thing.
It's lemon, but he's improvising.
You know what? It's going to taste the same in this proportion.
Yep.
So I can do the cranberry bitters because...
3 dashes.
That looks about 3 dashes tonight. So I got that going on too. I shake with ice. And now I'm going to need the pear liqueur. I need honey liqueur. I just saw the honey liqueur and I almost brought it down. If you could retrieve the pear, I will retrieve the honey. But one at a time.
There's no honey over here?
No. Do you think? I saw it upstairs, so I'm reasonably sure that we don't have.
I don't honestly know.
So I'll take the spiced pear, which should be like right there. Or is it inside the cabinet? I'm not sure. Here I'm like speculating. And it's like, it's my cabinet.
Let's see.
Where is it?
I know it's down here.
Oh, it's in there somewhere. We just got this recently because we were restocking and we saw it And had we had that spiced pear?
We had.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we were thinking about something we'd had that was pretty damn good. And we're going into a season where a lot of things are going to end up spiced and aromatic. And
Here I am like, oh, it's definitely
You know,
down here. I'm like,
your grandma's going to put on that big pot of wine with these cinnamon sticks and make them old wine that you're like, gee, and the house smells awesome. So this is the time where we start experimenting with things which have spice added. This stuff is a lot of fun. St. George's, which comes to you from Alameda, California.
Bay Area.
They make a lot of real fun products. They're a little unique and pretty fun. So this is half an ounce worth of spiced pear. If what you have on
Sylvia shared a recipe. Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you. That's great.
Here we go.
Keith.
Oh, thank you. That's cool. Excellent. Yep. Put this in it.
I'm so watching WKRP after we're done here.
I just cracked this and it's like, it smells so good. It's really like, did somebody just light a Yankee candle? You know?
Oh, thank you. Hi, Patrick. Happy Thanksgiving to you guys.
We're almost done. I need the Krupnik. I'll be right back.
Yep, get it. Yeah, I think I'm going to watch Operation Turkey Drop after this. It just, for my money, it doesn't get any better for a Thanksgiving episode than WKRP. Yes, Alameda. We've actually been to Alameda. Had a great time. Yay, yes, Roxanne. Speaking of Bay Area, we miss you guys so much. The honey liqueur. I thought he could just use honey mix. I think it would have worked the same way, but he's upstairs looking for the honey liqueur. Hopefully it's easy to find. You know what happens in these broadcasts when we send Paul off to find something? Oh, Debbie. Oh, hi, Debbie, for one thing. But, oh, that's great. I have friends who've been to that tasting. That sounds good. St. George. Debbie's been to St. George.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Hey, excellent.
Lucky.
Yeah, it's always great to visit the distillery, the winery, the brewery, all that kind of thing. We have the cider mill. We have all of these.
I have to say that we are more and more becoming spoiled for distilleries, which is great.
I'm just going to call
that.
We've
got a lot of distilleries we can get to easily around here.
Years ago, I would have thought that to be a plus. Today, I'm kind of thinking that's a plus. And then we start thinking about everything else that's happening around. I'm kind of like, it's a plus. And all of these are small businesses that are just really punching it pretty high.
Yep.
And I think that's just great for their community. And it's great for tourism and everything.
Oh, yeah, so Forbidden Island. We love Forbidden Island.
Oh, F5s.
Yep.
Awesome. Fun place. Big fun place. We shot a nice episode there in 2016, maybe. Earlier. 14, 13, maybe 13.
13.
I guess it's been a while. And,
yes, 13, because we drove a rental car.
They were
from San Diego to San Francisco.
So friendly and gracious with their facility and their time with us. And then later on, Michael.
Oh, Debbie says Josh is working on the rum lizard. Oh, nice. Love it.
On which one?
At Forbidden Island.
Oh, we're on the rum list.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Don't they have like a 100 club where it's like you try all the rums and then like along the way you get like points?
Yeah, I don't know what it's called, but like they do have
the rum merit badge for you all grown up scouts. Anyway.
Thank you, Sylvia. Happy Thanksgiving to you.
Excellent. Oh, yep. Sorry you got to work, but that's life. Things happen. The other flip side of that is that any subsequent episode, Michael from Forbidden Island watched me repair an 8-track tape and said, you can do that? I said, yeah.
Oh, Kill Devil, yes. Yes, thank you, Roxanne.
He had a stack of tapes that didn't work, and he wanted to hear them again. So I said, send them to me. So he sent me the stack, and I fixed them all. And then he was in the money. I'm like, that's. I'm glad you can enjoy them. I played them here. They sounded pretty fun. Yeah. He had one tape that was literally a mid-60s Martin Denny. I think it was the actual Quiet Village album.
On 8-track.
Not the first one, but the 1959 album, Quiet Village, on 8-track. And that tape, I'm looking at it, this is definitely from 66.
120 rums on the list.
Oh, there we go, 120 now. And as I recall, that was one of those days where like the rubber roller just turns completely to goo. It was a mess. So and they're impossible to open. So I really had to work on that one, but we got that thing going.
You did.
We got that thing going.
I had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, you leave that pain in the ass to me, and I'm glad to take it, and I don't wish that on anybody. They're real pain. So, but we always get our man.
Don't be shy. Tell us how you really feel.
Shy, what do we really feel about this whole thing there anyway? Well, what I really feel is that this cocktail should taste 73% better.
It's like 20.
20, what?
Our stock's gone down.
10% better. No, 23% better. 73% better.
Hey, is there a sidecar?
Yeah, a glass there. I'm a little overage here, so we can get your little side action going on. How about?
All right, thank you.
Fun. Boom.
Smells good.
And let's get that a whirl, shall we? Hey, I said let's give that a whirl.
It's called the Mr. T.
This is still good.
Yep.
So there we go. That, I'm sure, was improvised on air with what was available.
Funny thing is, I'm really, really getting the honey.
The honey liqueur is pretty prominent.
Yeah.
The Krupnik. It actually has... I'm thinking that they're using a very particular kind of honey that has some pretty strong flavors, because I'm getting it through. Yeah, wildflower honey, clover honey, something. Something is really punching that. It's got a nice sweetness to it. It's got like just a bit of an edge. And it's complementing the spiced pear liqueur very nicely. I like this even better with a spiced pear.
Oh,
so there we go. All of these hearty, spicy, stone fruit flavors, etc., etc. It's how you would describe some fancy
stone fruit flavors
bottle of wine, I'm sure. But the other one side here. This
I'm
is
start saying
you would like this. I'd like to fax it.
It has a distinct stone fruit flavor.
Bingo. Kill devil.
I love that.
So big fun. The tea is still good. And I kind of think that T himself, unless he's a teetotaler, would probably enjoy it. I
haven't been to Tiki Tom's. I'm getting envious looking at Debbie and Pepper Tree's conversation.
Oh, that's actually a good point there. 66 is a good year. Produced me. Actually, I can't count to that. I am from the class of 67. But I believe it produced you. So there we go, right? It's all together now. 66, you look at that like a lot of like motion pictures and television and music. There's a lot of fun stuff that happens
Doug
right there.
Says gooey rollers like on T-Hack reel-to-reel decks. Except with 8-track, it's on tape by tape basis.
It's hideous. It's really horrible. It's part of the original patent on the damn things. When Lear and Buddies came up with this.
Gooey Rollers would be a really good band name.
Gooey Rollers, yeah. That's like
actually it sounds like a singer.
Gooey,
and tonight, Gooey Rollers, the
the
Johnsonville Brats.
Gooey Rollers is the singer for the Johnsonville Brats, right? I'm kind of thinking it should be a band that covers the Bay City Rollers. It's a Rollers cover band. The Gooey Rollers. It's a totally stupid name.
I think Gooey Rollers sounds like a name.
Band. It does, as a matter of fact. It sounds like the name of some shock rock person who would have been on an episode of Chips,
Oh, Pepper Tree, we'd love it. Yes, let's do a virtual meetup. I'd love it better in person. Virtual is good too.
Oh, I like that idea. I like that quite a bit. And what's the joint in Grand Rapids is... Max's have not been, and obviously Max's was scheduled to open right at the beginning of Unmentionable, and they really had to scramble. But they sold a lot of mugs. Somebody when we had our photo session recently, one of the participants was noting one of the great mugs we have, and I said, "Oh, that's from Max's," and pointed out that they sold a lot of mugs in that period.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing.
We were lucky to get it.
Something to keep yourself going. They had just spent a mint to get the place open. You're like, then keep it kicking because, man, you just gotta.
Yeah.
It just looks so good. You're like, well, this has to keep going.
Yeah, Gooey Rollers could be an amazing cocktail, Ken says. I agree.
Well, I did actually recently do something.
Sloshed roller derby team. I like that. Yeah. Amy says Gooey Rollers should be bubblegum pop.
Absolutely. What else? Jeez, I'm thinking it's the sort of stuff that you'd hear on the Mike Shelley show on FMU on Saturdays. It's like 100% up his alley.
What was the one I heard? I keep a running list of my future band names.
Mm-hmm.
Now we got to add gooey rollers.
Mm-hmm.
Johnsonville Brats is my favorite.
That's kind of a classic right there.
What was the one I found recently? Oh, personal watermelon.
As in your own personal watermelon?
Yeah, I was walking through the supermarket and
a fruit that cares.
They had a display that said personal watermelon.
And you immediately started hearing this tune in your head.
Your own personal melon. Anyway.
A fruit that cares.
Meet up. Let's do it. I love it.
A fruit that's there.
I love it.
Marvelous. So what I did recently was I realized I had some materials on hand to make some classic cocktail ingredients that I'd never used.
Roxanne says gooey roller sounds like a Sid and Marty Cross show.
Seriously.
That too.
Seriously.
And
you were like, you associated with the whole rock and roll band camp there, so like you actually knew, very well. That's a really great project, Get people playing on 3/4 scale guitars when they're 10 years old. And it sounds too much like a Sid and Marty Cross show, like it happened. And we all have like really tragic memories of it.
Gooey rollers.
I'm thinking, normally I just have tragic memories of Sigmund, Lidsville, and of course, Puffin Stuff, because who can forget Puffin Stuff? And Puffin Stuff, I remember it was...
You see him in your nightmares.
Puffin Stuff just keeps turning up. They did these huge characters, and then they just kept recurring. So, like throughout the 70s, late 70s, well past the lifespan of the show. Suddenly you've got Puffin Stuff appearing there. Hi, here I am again,
Pepper Tree, drop the link to your channel in the chat so people can find you.
Throw it down.
Please.
You're watching this cocktail show, you can watch that cocktail show. Why?
Got to get our cocktail shows together again.
Because there's plenty of cocktails to go around, folks.
I shared our collaboration recently, but we got to get our shows together again.
We got to get together. Get yourself together.
Yep.
Wake up to your mind.
Remote Hydraulics for a band name. That's a good one too.
That is a good one.
Might have to add it to the list.
We were seeing some remote hydraulics recently with that video you shared with the Legos.
Oh yeah, that was
fun.
fun.
Had some hydraulics. And they might not have been hydraulics, I guess, but yeah, same idea. That was a lot of fun. That's a good thing. So what the hell am I talking about here? So a classic cocktail ingredient is something that you see referred to in books with authors such as Jerry Thomas. And that is something called gum syrup. And you think, what? We're talking bubble gum, we're talking gooey. It's like, huh? What the hell's it all about?
Speaking of bubble gum.
Look, all it really is sugar syrup, but to which has been added some gum. And the gum is something called gum arabic. This is like a tree sap that is actually Middle Eastern and is used as an emulsifier in many things. Well, in the period, and we're talking, 1860s, probably even earlier, this was actually dissolved into your sugar syrup, so you had a concoction you could use in cocktails as a sweetener. And I decided to make some up because I had some gum arabic. Gum arabic comes in a little packet that has these little crystals, and you melt it down and you add it to your sugar syrup. And I got to tell you, do this slowly because it's a real mess once it starts melting down. It took forever to get this stuff emulsified. But I did, and here we go. Gum. Boom. That's the stuff, and I think I might just make something with it.
I think you should.
I think I should, because a lot of class presidents will call for a dash of gum, and you're like, what? I'm going to put some juicy fruit in there? Bad idea. Just saying.
A dash of gum.
Not that we haven't all had a cocktail that tasted like juicy fruit and was a really bad morning after. I'm just saying. That happens too.
Yes. Ken says, Sid and Marty Croft, Paul Lynde Halloween special was my first appearance for Kiss. Yep.
This was the first real big national appearance for the band. Now.
Oh, Pepper Tree needs cocktail help. Someone gave us a bottle of gin at our Friendsgiving.
Oh, okay.
So many good things you can do with gin.
Well, do you want to talk about it now, or do you want to drop us a personal? Because we can talk about what's what.
We talk about gin.
I don't want to spend this entire episode talking about your issue because we have all these people here, but I will talk about your issue right now because I got you here.
Cocktail using gin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
well, that's a project then. I got it.
All right.
I got it. Yeah, that sounds like
we can help with that.
That sounds like a job for the bat
signal.
Petro
Pneumatic is my new stripper name, Doug says.
Now, where might that stripper perform? Scroties, perhaps?
Wait, okay. Bombay blackberry and raspberry flavored gin.
Is that the bottle? Okay. Oh, yeah, that's kind of different.
Okay.
Help!
Are you opposed to a bubbly drink?
That's the first.
Because I think that would be great, actually.
That could be made extremely simply, and it can be made slightly less simply. and then you'd have a really unique thing,
Mm-hmm.
and it would be really good, and everyone would love it.
Xanthan gum.
Xanthan gum.
What's the one I'm thinking of?
You know something? Xanthan gum is not a tree sap. It is a bacterium. Yeah.
Oh, yay. Well, that's bad.
Suck on that for a while. Oh, boy. But it's an emulsifier.
I think that sounds like it. I haven't had the Bombay blackberry and raspberry gin, but I think that could be really good in a champagne cocktail.
I think that would kind of kill in a bubbly cocktail.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're talking bubbly.
Okay.
So I say find your base that you really like, because you get the flavored gin.
It's going to be the gin. The base is going to be the gin.
Is the gin coming in at 80 proof? Or is it less because it's actually been is it like a liqueur gin?
No, I think
or is it just flavor?
I think it's a gin.
Is it a flavor?
Gin.
Gin, baby.
All right.
Hey, prosit.
Oh, bubbles. I'm going to have some more bubbles, Devin.
I haven't had any bubbles. And here I am thinking about bubbles. So
I'm thinking about my next
I think
drink.
I need to make some bubbles.
All right.
Mm.
But you know what?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Let's do something with
Bingo, Doug.
gin.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that does sound fun.
You know what? Let's help.
And Amy, you are actually friendly with gin, not vodka, as I recall.
Yeah.
And you know what? If you're not, don't drink it.
Right.
Because gin is perfectly great. You know, we have a couple of good gins on hand that we got recently. They're like locally produced craft gins, and they're a lot of fun.
Sounded like you said locally produced crap gin.
Yeah, I got some stuff from the local
They're
place
really
that's
good.
junk, but I drink it anyway because
Really
I love
good.
it. No, actually, all of the micros that I've had have really been very fun.
I'm using my same glass because I have no class. But do we have a...
See me when you have no class.
Come see me sometime when you have no class. All right.
What do you need?
Is one of these a half ounce?
Yes, that's a half ounce.
Okay.
The other one, I believe, is an ounce.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's kind of perfect.
I'm going to start. Okay, Amy's going to follow along because she has a blueberry gin.
Blueberry gin.
All right, so I'm going to start with, I only have regular gin, but I'm going to mix it up. So, all right, so I'm going to start with an ounce of gin.
Mix it up. Speaking of Kiss, yeah, by the way, the first time I ever saw Kiss on television was, in fact, the Poland Holiday Special.
I did not see the Poland Holiday Special. Eric says, not by the hair of my chinny chin gin.
Gin. I mean,
I did not see the Poland.
Was one of those things you watched because you knew who all the characters were. It had Paul Lynde, it had Witchy Poo. Jeez, it had Margaret Hamilton, for Christ's sake.
I didn't see the Poland Special until I was about 40.
When I was I think you're younger than that, but older than that.
Okay, so we're talking about...
You didn't see it at the time. I had to hip you to it, and you're like, what? And I said, you go to the Museum of TV and just watch
blackberry and raspberry flavored gin. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to add like a drop of blackberry to this, just to like...
Get us closer to where we're going.
Just get us closer to where you are. So let me find the blackberry.
Okay, so is there any sweetener in there, or is it strictly flavors gin?
I think it's just gin. It's Bombay, so it's good stuff.
Well, you know, you might have added some sweetener to make it more of a liqueur. That happens too. That's always possible. Just want to make sure so that we know what we're working with, because that will affect what we do.
I'm just going to add the tiniest bit,
There was absolutely a Kiss movie. It was called Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park.
Oh, God.
Who was actually in production of that? Have we said it enough? Sid and Marty Krofft. Good grief. This was like what kind of tanked Kiss for a couple of years.
Oh, slow. Oh, yeah. Slow gin. Yeah.
Oh, slow. Yeah.
Doug said, I noticed all the posh people in Midsummer Murders drink gin and the working class drink ale.
Well, you know, that was the thing back in the time.
Okay. So I'm just going to...
Although originally gin had a bit of a disreputable reputation in the UK because it was relatively inexpensive. So you can get sloshed, and I believe the term mother's ruin comes from that period of time. However, you also eventually get the London dry style of gin that we all drink. So the positive effect is that we can all have a martini now.
And I trade both, so that makes me middle class.
What? Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I've got what I'm going to call an ounce of blackberry gin. I added literally just a drop of blackberry to it. So
I'm not running out to the liquor store at this hour to get.
Oh, okay, great.
Just saying.
Send a picture of the bottle to my Instagram. Awesome. Okay.
Thank you.
We can work on this over the weekend,
we can make this happen.
So, all right. But I'm going to call that an ounce of the gin that you have.
The only reason I raise the issue is that there are a lot of products out there that say flavored, fill in the blank. It's flavored vodka. It's flavored rum. It's flavored gin. And sometimes it's like they add flavor to a bottle. You know, pepper vodka is pepper flavor in vodka, or they infuse peppers in the vodka. That's the classic way to do it. Well, there's no sweetener added. So if you put peppers in vodka, you've got like a big hit of like hot stuff. Wow. That's because it's like just infusing it.
A quarter ounce of fresh lemon juice.
But if you decide to sweeten that up, it becomes a liqueur. Also useful. You just have to know what you're working with.
I'm just trying to decide what else I want to do there. Okay. Ooh.
Comment. Good dose of psychedelia through Sid and Marty. Well, let's face facts. Like their first really big kids show was in fact named Puffin' Stuff.
Somebody was puffing stuff.
Many people have actually noted that that name sounds like what it sounds like. And it was 1969. I mean, geez, we're talking Jimi Hendrix Band of Gypsies. How much more Puffin' Stuff do you need? Well, apparently some. It's and the thing is, it's a color show. This is like a period where many people were buying their first color television set, and they were actually getting really good. So suddenly you had like really bright, vivid colors on everything.
Okay.
It's the period.
I added a dash of orange bitters. I'm tempted to try it right now because we want the gin to star in this. So
starring gin.
Starring gin.
Starring gin. Gin, of course, is the classic base for a French 75. So this is a really great
It's a French 75 variation.
And the fact is, the berry flavors remind me an awful lot of a Kir Royale. Oh, that's an interesting thing, too.
Do you think I could stick this in?
Yes, here. Tink. All right.
All right. Let's see.
Boop.
Oh, I like that. I want to try it with the gin you have, though.
Yeah. I'm interested to get a bottle of that.
Mm-hmm.
I know. That's Tanqueray,
but it's good.
No, it's Bombay.
Bombay.
I know that Bombay has been following suit and coming up with some interesting variations and flavors. And you know,
ooh, Doug has a bottle of sassafras gin. Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm.
I just love it. Hi, Janice.
Hello,
Janice remembers Puffin' Stuff.
Who doesn't remember Puffin' Stuff if you've seen Puffin' Stuff? It was a pretty memorable show.
Yep.
It was all like huge characters that looked like they came out of McDonald's.
Pepper Tree. I want to try this. You know what? Okay. Let's up the gin. When we make this again, let's up the gin to 1.5 ounces.
Do I need to try that myself? And
yeah.
Okay, perhaps I'll do that. I just said all of these huge, like, fluffy characters on Puffin' Stuff.
Did you say fluffy?
Who remind you an awful lot of McDonaldland. But the simple fact is, McDonaldland came later.
Yes, Puff the Magic Dragon.
And there was actually a lawsuit from Sid and Marty Krofft because it looked a little too reminiscent, and I believe that was lost.
Which one?
All of the McDonaldland characters, Hamburglar, Mayor McCheese. Mayor McCheese, who strongly resembles Puffin' Stuff himself. It's like, yeah, a court decided it strongly resembled it a little too much. There was that fact.
Oh, yeah, Mama Cass. Yes, Devin.
Oh, yes. There was Mama Cass was in the movie. There was a motion picture that was made, and it was starred in that. She was a pretty substantial character at the time. I'm not talking about stature. I'm just talking about the fact that she was well known.
Eric says, my niece saw an episode of Puffin' Stuff. Told her that's a kid's show we watched when younger. She's like, what's wrong with you people? I know I have said this before on this show, but there's if you're interested in these things as I am, there's a great book out about the Brady Bunch Variety Hour. And I just remember the quote from Susan Olsen talking about Puffin' Stuff coming on the Brady Bunch Variety Hour and how she thought that back then they were actually puffin' stuff.
Yeah, somebody was puffin' stuff.
Oh, Great Food and Beverage, hello, is asking about the Bugaloos.
Oh, the Bugaloos. Yet another Sid and Marty. Yes. That was like 4 English kids who hooked up with them. With Martha Ray! Oh, man. It's crazy. I remember all of these shows.
We're going to try it with 1.5 ounces of the gin. 1.5 ounces of the gin, 1/4 ounce of the lemon, and a dash of orange bitters filled with bubbles. It's basically a French 75. But
uses a variation gin.
It might need a little something
More
else.
flavors.
I'm trying to give it a little more...
what do you think? What do you think so far?
Maybe the cranberry bitters.
We'll give that a whirl and see where we go. Cran is a really good place to go. Like I was saying.
It already has orange bitters, but... Oh, Marty's saying... Hi, Marty. After
Hello.
meeting Butch Patrick, I got hip to Lidsville,
The one I really, really remember from being very young was Lidsville. So I remember that hat that grew and then he fell into it. And then he was transported to a separate land. This is very... totally ripping off of Lewis Carroll, no question. Sid and Marty never knew a classic bit of literature in the public domain that they wouldn't rip off.
Cranberry bitters, too, you guys.
Thing. Okay.
Cranberry bitters, too.
Good place to be. Easily found. Get them on the internet. Get them at your local...
on the internet. Get them on the internet.
Actually, you're in an area where you have really good liquor stores, which have bitters and stuff.
Bevmo and such.
Go to Bevmo. Bevmo's got it. You know?
We don't have that stuff.
We don't have that stuff.
We don't have that stuff here.
I can sit here complaining about the fact that I can't get that.
I didn't see you.
But there you go.
Yeah, no, we got to add a dash of orange bitters and a dash of cranberry bitters, and it's going places now.
Okay, now you're selling it.
It's going places. Oh, yeah. Wait, Eric is saying my sister is actually dressed up as a bugaloo one Halloween. Oh my gosh. Well, I know, yeah, like your mom made great costumes, so you said.
Oh, yeah, that's very true.
And Ken's saying, how about Joe Namath on H.R. stuff?
You know, all of these
and Billy
shows,
Barty was
Billy
the bee and the Bugaloos. Oh, and Billy Barty was on the Paul Lynde.
Yeah. Billy had this... what a career. He worked forever. Yep. He worked for years. I think he started out not necessarily in vaudeville. He might not have been quite old enough at the time, but he was definitely doing theater. And then, of course, he moves on to movies and TV and whatnot, and he's just got this whole thing. It's kind of awesome. Eventually shows up on UHF. It's a great role. Love Billy Barty. Bugaloos was specifically a show with songs, because there were a lot of shows at the time that had a group of sort of cartoonish characters that did songs. The Archies, there was a Hardy Boys show that did music. There was a Ghouls show. What the hell was that called? The Groovy Ghoulies.
Groovy Ghoulies.
That had songs.
Oh my gosh.
I had that album at one point, but I actually gave it to a friend.
Oh, Patrick, I remember Electro Woman and Dinah Girl.
Oh man, yeah.
Yes.
Talk about your schlock effects. Wow.
All Electro Woman and
video
Dinah Girl.
All the time.
Maybe I'll watch that after I watch WKRP.
In fact, I was convinced that Sid and Marty were so cheap that they had actually produced
Eric remembers that one
Puffin
too.
stuff on video and then transferred it to film because it just looked so bad. But then I realized that was just the terrible transfers I'd been seeing.
Oh, Doug says I had some
show.
luck using orange liqueur and sherry with gin.
Oh, well,
that
fun.
Sounds like it would work.
Yes.
Yeah, Butch Patrick and Munster.
Bingo, Phil. Oh, absolutely.
Yep.
You've got, look, there's 3 big Butch Patrick things. Actually, there's 4. A, you get Eddie Munster. Yeah, hold it.
Okay.
There's 4 big Butch Patrick things. Eddie Munster, Lidsville, I forget his name. Actually, the second thing was the Phantom Toll Booth, which was the motion picture Chuck Jones was involved in. Pretty cool picture. I remember seeing that as a kid, too. Third, you've got Lidsville. And fourth... Barnes and Barnes, baby.
Holy fish.
You gotta love these kid actors who say, I'm going to do some music. And they just, whoa, wacko.
Eric says I was conflicted on whether I liked older women or not. I love it.
It's hilarious. Well, but again...
Fishette, yeah. Who remembers Fishette?
Bingo.
Admitting to our ages.
Bugaloos had music. There is an album. We own it. That's one of the few of these types of things that we own.
I bet we do.
It's kind of fun. It's all very bubblegummy pop. And, of course, it had Martha Raye, who was much better known as a singer than any of them. I don't think she got any songs.
He probably wasn't into women that old, I'm just saying.
Not that kind of old, no.
Lost Saucer.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see that?
I remember The Lost Saucer.
I never saw that.
Yeah. That was around at the same time, of course, as the far out space nuts. I frequently refer to space exploration in the early 1970s, actually 60s through 70s. All the people who really love that stuff as far out space nuts, and I'm obviously taking that from the name of the show. But in that period of time, man, you launched a Saturn V. I was watching it on TV.
Hey, Marty, he stops by. Cool. We gotta get out more often. We gotta meet Butch Patrick.
Wow. Oh, hello.
Oh my God.
We gotta see Butch. No question.
We gotta see Butch. I just remember hi, Marcy. When I think of Butch Patrick, I just think of The Simpsons when he's like, "So I got that going on too."
Yeah. Which is hilarious, you know, the cartoon Butch Patrick as Eddie Munster. Yeah, well, I got the whole gig happening. Jesus, Butch.
So I got that going on too.
Well, I need a thing. And
wait, Marcy says Billy Barty was in her park with a million of his little friends having a picnic when I was a kid. Oh my gosh!
Whoa.
Wow!
Gee, that's
Hollywood history right there.
That's like being a kid in 1938 when they're filming The Wizard of Oz, and you're seeing all the little people going, "Whoa!"
Jim Neighbors and Ruth Buzzy. Yeah, I gotta get into that one.
Yeah.
So we started watching a movie last night because Paul remembered it from when he was young.
Yep. Speaking of Thanksgiving movies, how about something called Cold Turkey? You remember that? A Norman Lear picture. It was apparently made in 1969, and then the company thought, I don't know, and they sat on it for a couple of years.
What did we ever do to deserve such great entertainment?
It was the period. It was the period. This is the Laugh-In period.
Oh, good.
I mean, I remember that as a kid, too.
Oh, okay. They have Pepper Tree. They've got orange and cranberry bitters. Boom. Yes.
Boom. Excellent. Oh, Total Wine.
I think it needs both, Eric. I think I did it with just the orange, and I was like, yeah. And the cranberry really made it sing.
So
I don't think we're done toying with this. So we will probably be sending you messages over the weekend. But
let's see where we go. We've got a few days of experimentation over this whole Big Bird holiday.
Don.
I'm just saying.
Cousin Oliver, yes. We are friends of friends with Cousin Oliver. We don't know him, but we have friends who know him.
We're like 2 degrees from Cousin Oliver. He wrote the theme song to Sharknado. Speaking of schlock.
That doesn't surprise me.
Wow. Well,
Don had a huge crush on the girl in the Bugaloos.
Oh, geez, yeah. Caroline. Yeah, she was cute. I mean, if you're watching that at the age of 10, you're like, I
lost the thread of the important thing that I was going to say.
Well, think about it. It'll come back. I'm kind of thinking.
Oh, the movie last night. I so wanted to watch a movie.
Mm-hmm.
I was up for watching a movie. And then we put this movie on, and it was so slow.
It's a little slow. But I think it's a little deliberate. And
Bob
the fact
Newhart and Dick Van Dyke. It just had like a whole
cast of characters.
Slew.
Vincent Gardenia, Pippa Scott
actors.
The
and this movie was like so slow.
I think, it might just be the temperament.
Well, Don, you did.
Yeah.
Don said nobody mentioned Land of the Lost.
We had not gotten...
You did.
Had not quite gotten to the Slee stacks yet, but hey, you brought it up, friend. Ah!
Oh, Eric says, I remember Martha Ray's Mel's mother on Alice. I love Alice.
Oh, yeah. Well, she did such great characters.
Candace saying, remember oil-based plastic dinosaurs in the 70s stuck in liberated tar pits.
Slightly
Hi, Gettysburg, man.
Hey, when you go and fill up your car at the Sinclair gas station, and there is Dino, you're like,
Oh, yeah, we got some Caroline fans out there.
Oh, no, she was,
just saying,
I think it's
Eric,
Caroline Ellis is your gal. These were just like 4 English
Yes, Cold Turkey was about a town quitting smoking, Amy, and it should have been entertaining. It was so slow.
Watch it, back it up and watch it again, I think, because there were some scenes that were hilarious.
I could not stay awake. But I picked up my crocheting and I stayed awake.
I think it was a little late. You started laughing.
I needed to do something with my
Honestly,
hands.
I remember this as a kid, and I don't think I got any of the satire. And as an adult, I'm watching it. It's like you've got Bob and Ray playing 5 or 6 characters.
No.
They're just crazy.
The people are hilarious. Tom Poston, I was crying.
Tom Poston as the town drunk. And the town drunk who can't stop smoking because the smoke bone is connected to the drink bone. So he decides, he suddenly realizes, I don't have to stay in town. I'll just go to my summer place. So he leaves town.
Yeah.
That's how he actually wins the bet.
Crying at the idea of quitting smoking.
It's hilarious.
It's
hilarious.
That was a comedy masterclass, his performance.
Which, you know, it's a satire of the period.
The whole movie itself is just like
big tobacco.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty damn funny. I think it's probably a little
Cold
subtle.
Turkey
But
has
funny.
Dick Van Dyke.
Yep.
Eric's saying my niece liked Land of the Lost much better than Puff and Stuff. She liked Chaka.
Chaka.
I love
I kind of wonder if she would also like
Cold Turkey. Was it a sequel to WKRP?
Funny.
It had so many good people in it.
Oh,
it's just
cast
the pace of it. Paul was saying he thought it was a TV movie, which makes a little bit of sense.
I'm wrong. It was a theatrical release.
Was it?
I looked it up.
Everyone
and I'm thinking, you know,
asleep.
there's some language in it. I'm like, yeah, there's no way that would have passed television at the time.
Oh, it's so slow.
It's a Norman Lear thing. It's the only thing he ever directed as a motion picture, apparently. Funny.
Roxanne says Robbie Rist was voice talent in an animated movie called Balto.
Oh.
Who voiced Balto? Kevin Bacon. Thanks, Google.
Bingo.
I love it.
Bingo.
I love it.
Robbie's one of these people who just keeps going and doing things.
Well,
And I think
he's a musician.
kick ass, man. You know, do it.
Oh yeah, see, Pepper Trade. They remember watching it on.
It used to be on
late movie.
Early 70s. It was on television a lot. It was just one of these things that was probably a really cheap license. I don't think it did that well in the theaters.
Shocking.
So, but in the meantime, it was directed by Norman Lear, who was like killing it on television. So I think TV started showing this a lot because like, oh, it's Norman Lear, and we used to see this a lot. You know,
and there are so many funny things in this movie, but I will say that I think Norman Lear's true medium is the 22-minute sitcom.
He works very well in that, without any question. He did get great performances.
Not a Norman Lear after school special. Oh, Lisa says Errol's dad quit smoking thousands and thousands of times. Oh,
it's an addictive substance, people.
It is an addictive substance.
People who, I think people who like it don't even necessarily care about
the dive bombing the cigarettes.
they don't even necessarily care about the nicotine. I think they just like the comfort of having this warm thing happening.
Yeah.
I think of offices where, you know, they banned smoking by the 1980s, and it's like, where are you going to smoke? You have to step outside. If you're in the Northeast and it's February, it's 20 degrees, and you're out there like, and you got this like hot thing in your hand. It's comforting.
Roxanne says we're all connected to Kevin Bacon through Velveteen Lounge Kitchen.
Bang.
I like that.
1 degree.
I like to think that
1 degree.
I must be at least one. It must be 1 degree from Kevin Bacon.
Wing. I need to do a thing, so I'm going to do that.
I'm acquainted with actors.
But I got to do that. Oh, you are. Absolutely true. And you've been doing some work lately on set, so we've been seeing more people. And, you know, you think about the fact that you worked on that piece,
closely.
And this person worked on that piece, and the leg bone's connected to the ankle bone, and away you go. That's an interesting bit of...
Smoke bone's connected to the booze bone?
Smoke bone's connected to the booze bone. That's just, it's a great line.
We don't smoke, by the way.
We do not smoke. I do not smoke at all because my insurance says so. So you will not see me with the occasional cigar. No, I don't do that. Let's see here.
He just thought he'd mention that to you.
So let's see here. What can I put in this kind of item? I want to work with the bubbles. And...
what would you like for a base?
You know, I'm going to do something unique. I was thinking of using agavit, and we have it right over there. How about that? Now, here's a different kind of... we'll call this the Swedish 75.
Are you saying you'd like the agavit?
I would like the agavit.
Okay.
There we go. And now we can reference the Swedish chef.
I just saw it.
Oh, bork, 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 bork. Ah, the Alborg. Excellent. Jubileums agavit. This is a really nice brand.
Suddenly has an accent.
Yeah, I do not speak Swedish. I mean, I do not have Swedish heritage.
Oh, Gettysburg, ma'am. Thank you. Mm-hmm. I'm glad we saw you before the holidays.
Yes, please. What's that announced of?
I won't tell all.
The agavit.
Here's his, I won't tell all.
Not saying anything at all. I don't do such things.
No, I do not smoke cigars.
No. I do not smoke cigarettes at all. I actually find that to be a pretty vile habit.
Oh, wait, Marty's saying come to Rock Fantasy in Middletown this Friday for the holiday parade.
Oh.
Santa arrives at the tree
6
lighting
p.m.
at 6. Wait, you're DJing? How did I miss this?
Hello. I'll play some pinball.
DJing at Rock Fantasy. We could drunkenly walk to Rock Fantasy. How late will you be playing, Marty? Let us know.
Just asking.
6 might be a little...
There,
little problematic,
we
but
can
we
find
could stumble over there
we can find it out.
at later.
Can you get me the bubbers, please?
Certainly can.
Yeah, thank you. I think this drink really deserves a classic. This is the reconstructed Boker's Bitters, which I got recently and I've been very happy with. And they're fun to use, and they're extraordinarily dark. I don't know what the hell they put in these things. You've got a couple of different formulas you can believe on the internet if you want as to what was in Boker's, but Boker's hasn't been made in over 100 years.
Believe in Boker's Bitters.
I believe. Okay, thank you very much. See that? Like immediately turned that like a very dark amber. So that's our base. I'm going to
Look at
add
that.
a little bit of sour to that. I'm really working a classic 75 formula. Now, what would be a really good thing to put in there? I know. Couldn't be better.
I'll take a... Anyway. See, I was thinking orange liqueur, but clearly he needed to leave the room for whatever his idea was.
I was kind of thinking lingonberry juice concentrate from IKEA, perhaps.
Oh, 7 to 9. Oh, the family truckster. Oh, my God.
Oh, wow.
Oh, Marty, I'm going to try.
We saw the truckster up in Lake George, didn't we?
I think we could maybe stumble up the hill. We saw the family truckster when we were in Lake George. Oh, Bugaloos was in 1970. Okay.
Yeah.
Don looked it up.
I
Oh, the heat just came on.
I recall that being on. I don't necessarily recall it from 1970 itself, and I do cop to being old enough to be in that range. I was certainly as hell watching TV at the time, but I definitely recall it in reruns over the next, say, 5-6 years. It was,
just say 20 or 30 years.
Definitely circulated, but I hadn't seen it much since then. Like it had a lifespan of a few years and then fell off the charts. And I think it only ran for one season, so it's kind of hard to syndicate, which is kind of too bad.
Oh, hi, Sherry.
Because you can make a whole Sid and Marty Krofft package out of that.
Oh, Sherry says, I love the IKEA lingonberry. Do we have some of that? Is that what that is?
This is what this is.
Oh.
The drink concentrate.
I guess we do.
You can probably get this at any IKEA across the states.
We have another one in the fridge, too. That's why I was saying
Add a shot of that to some seltzer. Beautiful. Good stuff. So what I've done is add an ounce of the akavit, half ounce of the lingonberry concentrate, half ounce of lemon, and I'm going to top that with bubbles, and you've got your Swedish 75. Stockholm 75, perhaps. How about them apples? If you can pass me something to stir with.
Goldstones, Mr. Egg Roll.
I'm even going to add a lemon peel because we have them.
I'm going to go grab you a swizzle stick.
Thank you. Chink. There we go. A little bit of the citrus in there. Not a bad idea. But just using what we had had akavit in a long time, and I kind of missed it. At the end of the day, it's just infused vodka, but it's a nice infusion.
How Sherry uses it in mocktails with orange juice and
Pelly.
Oh,
nice. That's a really fine idea.
Nice.
And doesn't San Pellegrino actually have several flavored variations
they
kicking
do.
around right now?
They do now.
That are kind of fun to play with?
Yep.
Just saying. Well, I'm happy with that.
Well, I'm happy you're happy with that.
I'm happy you're happy with that.
Oh, Eric's saying somebody wrote a whole book about Sid and Marty Krofft.
Yeah, they're really...
That'd be a good one to have.
It really should be, because their career extended over years. Well before they were kicking it in television, they were working on Broadway shows. They did this whole show. I think they did Vegas for a while, but they were puppeteers. And they did this whole show called Le Poupée de Paris. And it was all these like puppets, and it just looks I think it probably looked a hell of a lot like Super Marionation, to quote a completely different tact. But then eventually they just say, like, they got a contract to do TV, and they just go from there.
How do you like those lingonberries? How do you like them goldstones, Mr. Eggroll?
I like these lingonberries an awful lot. I'm going to call that
if
good.
anyone gets that reference.
Ping! Now, that's a pretty famous reference.
My theater people might get that one.
Yeah, well, you know, Gypsy's a classic piece.
Well, you just gave it away!
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, there we go. I wasn't going to wait for somebody to guess that one because people know. People know this thing. And when I actually played in my town band, like my town actually had a band that was like a real classic, like concert band kind of thing that would play on July 4th, and we'd play all the classics. I did that several years in a row. I remember we did a medley from Gypsy, and I didn't really know the show at the time, but I recognized the songs. You know, years later, I realized, oh, geez, this is what this piece is all about. And by now, we've of course seen the movie, which is got some fantastic stuff in it. We have not seen a stage version of the show by now. Although, did you see?
I did.
Did you see Tyne Daly?
I did. I saw Tyne Daly.
You saw
in
Tyne
Gypsy.
Daly. Yeah. Which is really great casting.
Yeah.
89, 90, I think that played.
Must have been 90.
Yep. And along the way in my travels, I remember somebody actually having a little trouble because he had some theater recordings that he couldn't play. He had these big reels of tape. And what did they have? They had what we call squawk box tapes. What the hell is that? That's the cue that tells you when to get on stage. Well, back in 1960, when this would have been, occasionally somebody would tap into that and run a tape recorder and record an entire show. And this actually occurred with the final performance of Gypsy. I think it was 1961. So he had this and he said, could you transfer this for me? So I did. And there you've got the final performance on Broadway with Ethel Merman. And from tape. And that's where I've heard that too. You know? It's really interesting and fascinating to hear the show, not just the cast album, as it goes on. These tapes, they sound horrible. It's just like it's a microphone over the audience, you know? But it's what you've got. Wasn't any videotape.
If you want to hear her sing just a little snippet of Everything's Coming Up Roses, though, you could also just watch Airplane.
Yes. You know, he's shell shocked. He thinks he's Ethel Merman. And there we go with a different sort
Which,
of.
by the way, is on the soundtrack album.
And Pink, yes. Oh, it's fantastic. Fantastic stuff. So we can credit, of course, Messrs. Stein and Sondheim with those tunes, just in case somebody decides that I was singing too many notes from Everything's Coming Up Roses.
I do recommend, if you're at all interested in Sid Marty Krofft, I recommend Love to Love You Brady's, which is the book about the Brady Bunch writing.
Now, wasn't that written by Susan Olsen?
It was written by Susan Olsen, and she had co-authors.
Some ghostwriters.
Yeah,
you know.
she had co-authors.
Co-authors, okay.
I wouldn't say ghostwriters because they're all credited. But...
Okay, so Susan actually put this down to memorialize what happened.
Okay, here's one for you, Paul. Eric says, I don't know if you listen to podcasts, but you ought to listen to this 5-part series from Radiolab on how the cassette tape revolutionized how we lived.
We could have an awful lot of fun talking about...
Well, that's just right up his alley.
We could have an awful lot of fun talking about package tape. Because...
Package tape.
Look.
Can we talk about package tape?
About package tape? I was just reading something recently about pre-recorded tape circa 1950. This is really the dawn of this all. At the time, that was big reels. And when those...
Big reels keep on turning. Keep on
yeah. And for a while, that was the only way to get tape. And then people started thinking about how to package that in a way that would be a lot easier to use. And you get the cartridges and the cassettes. The
cartridge family.
The cassette tape itself was actually pioneered at Philips in the early 60s. And the gentleman who headed up that team just recently died. I think it was in about March of this year. I mean, he was probably 93 years old. No.
Who was that? What are we talking about?
I forget the guy who headed that up.
Yeah, but he died.
He had a Dutch name, and he was certainly Dutch.
He was Dutch, and he died. And
all they were trying to do was come up with an easier way for dictation tape, and they made it work. Made it work very well.
I mentioned this because there was a segment where in Czechoslovakia, there's all this music stolen from popular tunes, but with different lyrics. The song "Don't Cry for Me, Argentina" became a song about driving carefully in the mountains in Czech. Oh,
Okay.
I love that. That's hilarious.
That's interesting. That may interest Amy, whose heritage extends to such things, and she may go, "What? I'm going what?"
That is hilarious.
But in my time, I've heard similar things. Industrials always decide to distort things.
I remember when he worked
well
at the record store.
Yeah.
I would go in there to meet, like, he would get off work at 7. I'm like, oh, let's meet up.
Mm-hmm.
We're
sure.
just casually dating at that point.
Yeah.
So I would go, and meet him when he was getting off of work. And sometimes they would have me do the announcement for closing the store.
Oh, I
Attention,
used to
Footlight customers.
love that.
Attention, Footlight customers. Please bring your purchases to the front as the store is about to close. But anyway.
Fare thee well and get the hell out.
They would be playing show tunes a lot of the time in other languages because they sold the CDs and all these different languages.
Albums.
But some of them, there were so many more syllables in that language than there were in the original. Composition. So it'd be the same tune, but it'd be like trying to fit
something
it in.
absolutely insane. I would say that the one that really catches your ear is Annie Get Your Gun in Japanese.
Amy says my people are
Is astonishing. Yes.
Annie Get Your Gun in Japanese. I remember that one in Japanese.
You can probably, years ago I would have had to say, well, you got to come over and I can play it for you and whatnot. We don't own it.
You could just probably go to YouTube.
But now you go to YouTube and you can find the whole cast of it and you can listen and you can go, wow,
Spotify. I don't know.
Folks Are Dumb, where I come from, has a lot more in the way of syllables.
So many syllables.
In Japanese.
Yeah,
it's really pretty astonishing. But
Yes.
it was great to hear all of these things, and the show collectors would love all this stuff. You get it in French, you get it in German, you get it in Czech, you get it in Japanese, you get it in Korean, you get it in Arabic. It was all of these shows played very well around the world. And like a really big bombastic show like, say, Phantom of the Opera. Wow, there were 25 versions of that. Yep. It was just huge. I remember being in Montreal, early 90s, and finding that there was it Phantom or Beauty and the Beast? I think it was Beauty and the Beast. There was a version in French language that was specific to Montreal. And they had done like a CD single that had 2 or 3 songs. And I thought, okay, yoink. And I was able to resell that through the store because somebody was like, oh, yoink. There's no way he could have found that. So that was pretty fun. It was kind of cool, But literally French-Canadian version of this. That is very specific. And it's great that there's such a thing.
You made me think of, I think it was in Queens, and this has nothing to do with foreign language cast albums, but you selling things to the store.
Yeah.
I remember we were in like a Goodwill or a Salvation Army or something in Queens, and you found a trove of
Industrials. It was some industrial musical, and whoever had dumped 20 copies of this thing. And there they were for like $2 a piece.
And you were like, yes, buy them all.
Yoink, grabbed that, resold them to the store sold them all. This sort of thing
but you
used
made
to
money.
happen.
I remember that.
Didn't exactly pay the rent that month, but made money. And the store made money, so everybody happy. I mean, it was just one of those things. You used to find that a lot in industrial musicals. There's a whole, what am I thinking of? Documentary about industrial musicals. Yeah.
Eric says, remember they tried introducing Coca-Cola in China. The jingle at the time was Coke adds life. But the closest they can come for Chinese was Coke brings your ancestors back from the dead. No.
What?
Oh.
Okay, now we're...
That's what they call a language barrier.
Yeah, now we're backing up exactly 1 month and suddenly it's
barrier.
George Romero territory.
Exactly.
Coca-Cola brings your ancestors back from the grave.
From the dead.
Ah! Weren't you just performing in a movie with the star of not They Live? What am I thinking of? One of the zombie pictures. Evil Dead.
I was?
Yeah, you were. It was...
Bruce Campbell?
Yeah, Bruce Campbell.
Oh, yeah.
You were actually in a picture with Bruce Campbell.
I didn't meet him.
You didn't meet him, no. I didn't.
Let's not conflate this. I did not meet Bruce Campbell.
He's in the picture and you're in the picture.
He's in the movie.
1 degree from Bruce Campbell. Hello.
I would say 1.5 degrees. But
Speaking of zombies and Romero and etc.
Just back from the dead.
I think I remember hearing that at one point in time. There are classic
That's terrible.
mistranslations of such
and
things.
hilarious.
It is legendary that when Chevrolet was trying to sell the Chevy Nova around the world, they had a little trouble in Mexico. Because in Spanish, Nova very literally means no go. Not a good tagline for a car.
For a car.
Now, I don't know if that's really the case, but I think...
don't know.
I'm kind of thinking that the thing was kind of butt ugly and that the Mexicans might have said, no, I'm not going to drive that. There's all sorts of great cars out there, So that could have been the case. And I would, we've been to Mexico
knew people that
many times by now, and I find that the population is very discriminating, and they might have just said, nah, screw that. I'm not going to drive that car. Maybe that's the case.
Oh, wait. No, Eric said exactly the same thing. I called the Nova. You guys said the same thing. This must be... Yeah, you're on the same wavelength.
We heard the same rumor.
Okay.
It may be the case. I don't know.
Nova.
You really got to talk to some car dealers.
Our neighbor is from Mexico. We can go ask him.
He's a little younger than the Nova, but who knows? Maybe such a thing was a thing.
Oh, Amy says, when I was in Prague, I saw a light music show in this funky industrial outdoor structure.
Well, Prague is a highly cosmopolitan city. They will be doing all that kind of stuff.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
Sherry says, I went to Quebec City as a kid and was loving the dubbed kid shows. Mom, Lance Link is speaking French. Mom and little sister looked at me like I'd lost my mind. They're chimps chewing gum. They don't speak English or French.
Lance!
Oh, Roxanne, you drove a Nova?
Oh, man.
I had a gigantic Chevy Impala that was purchased from my grandma, so...
Kudos.
Cheers to grandma cars.
Nova, I recall being pretty butt ugly, and I hope yours was a better color than I remember. I used to remember, really...
You had the same mental Wi-Fi channel. I love it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's hilarious.
But I specifically remember all of the Plymouth Valiant and Dodge Dart variations because it was a ton of darts kicking around. And then, of course, there was the Scamp. The Scamp was a hopped-up dart. And then at the end of the day, any of these sort of Dodge materials,
What about the Duster?
Any of these Mopars. Yeah, Duster and the Scamp. Any of these Mopar cars, you decide I want to put a real hot rod engine in there. It's all mass manufactured.
Vroom.
You want to put a 440 in there? Just drop it in, bolt it down, and then it's you're flipping the car over because it's going too fast.
Gettysburg Jam. I had a 1980 T-top Firebird.
Oh, hey, man!
My car was a land yacht.
I bet you had FM stereo and cassette in the dash there, so you could play the latest album from Boston. Yeah, hot stuff coming through. Van Halen, Now you're talking. Firebird. College years, I remember the hot car was... Firebirds were kind of hot, but what was the other thing?
There must have been so many.
There was just this production muscle car that everybody had. I remember one of my roommates was driving one, and it smelled so new. It was very, very new car.
That new car smell.
It was wow, this was Long Island, where some families had some money.
I'm giving myself a little.
Kid got a car for college.
And bubbles.
Mm-hmm.
I can't really
keep it simple. Keep it direct.
To a cocktail.
Yep. You know what?
Thank you.
Bubble yourself.
I will bubble myself.
I will bubble myself.
Go bubble yourself.
Oh, go bubble yourself.
I think I will.
The Trans Am is the other thing I was thinking of. That was the other sort of...
gosh, the Trans Am.
Production hot rod car.
And some cranberry bitters, because Thanksgiving.
I mean, none of these were real, actual hot rods. Nobody built this car. This was off the lot.
Nobody built this car. It magically appeared.
No, I mean, no individual built. This wasn't built in somebody's backyard.
Oh, Gettysburg says, yes, tape deck to play lots of Journey.
Now we're talking.
Love it.
Yeah,
Hi, Tom. Happy Thanksgiving.
I kind of forgot about Journey, but that is absolutely 1980. No question.
Oh, wait, Sherry says we had a butter yellow Dart Swinger. Oh, my gosh.
Dodge Dart Swinger. Yeah.
Does it bother anyone besides me? I drive a Dodge, so.
We in fact do drive Mopar product.
Yeah, I have a Mopar car.
Mm-hmm.
The Dodge Dart just looks like it says Dodge Dort now.
There is a contemporary rehash of the Dart that is just.
It's either Frangelico or Aunt Jemima's. It's like that episode of Mad Men.
Yeah, where the kid pours like the stuff from the rum jumpy bottle.
She's just like, it's Mrs. Butterworth. He's like, that's not Mrs. Butterworth.
He's like, what bottle did you use? You know? But yeah, Frangelico.
Oh, his little belt though is like up around his chest.
Well, it was kind of falling down here. Yeah, I think that the monk needs to have and we need to retie the belt because it's like that's just disgraceful.
He's lost weight.
Fun stuff. But yeah, the Frangelico definitely has a distinct look to it, doesn't it?
Oh, wait, hold on. Lisa says, my dad bought my mom a brand new car in the 70s, which was a Purple Nova. No air conditioning, so my dad bought an air conditioner that sat on the hump. Oh my God.
You could do that at the time.
I love that.
Do you remember tape players that sat on the hump? You know, it might be this massive thing that said Craig. And it was an 8-track, quadraphonic 8-track player. Like, punch the tape in.
Eric says, my sister was obsessed with Trans Ams and was a fan of Knight Rider. Yes, Kit. Right? Kit?
As voiced by... Anybody remember the voice of Kit?
I didn't watch
You remember.
that show.
Oh, yeah. I remember the voice of Kit. Yeah. Pretty distinctive. And if you actually knew the actor, you'd be like, oh, of course it was him.
Oh, this is good.
Mm-hmm.
The Frangelico.
Yeah.
Cranberry bitters.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a fine idea.
Keep it light.
Keep it light. Keep it simple. Keep it direct. Keep it domestic. Actually, Frangelico's a...
So say I don't think it's domestic, actually. But
and the bubbles come from Spain.
Spain. So, yeah, not domestic.
Oh, so we import a few things.
I guess the Fee brothers are domestic. But
yes, they are.
he's thinking of Bill Murray. I keep it simple, and I keep it domestic. I drink swill.
Yeah, Doug is actually like name checking. Krakow! Yeah, they were a noted manufacturer at the time. I remember Krakow well, I remember Craig. But Craig was actually a pretty high quality product.
Errol says, a friend of mine in the Navy had a Grand National. It was a pretty fast car. Okay. Knight Rider.
As far as the tape decks go,
I remember seeing the actual car, Kit, when I went to Burbank Studios.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Yeah, Kit had this this chasing bit of LEDs in the front of the car. So you knew that something was happening. Keep international.
I gotta try to find I drink swill so you guys don't think we're crazy.
No, you remember the whole thing. With tape decks, I remember that Craig did a big co-brand with Pioneer, and you could find these like 8-track decks made by Pioneer that were like, whoa, that was crazy. That was so much better than you could have possibly hoped for. And I remember being in the Salvation Army around 1987 and finding a Pioneer 8-track deck. So I had to pick it up, car deck. And years later, I knew one of my good friends actually was outfitting his 1977 Cadillac. And he said, I want to get an 8-track deck in there. I'm like, well, I got a few of them.
Oh, hi, David. David says the cool guys had blah punked.
Oh, there we go. Ooh, pinky in the air.
All right.
You could have Blaupunkt. You could have, who else was really big? Clarion was very big at the time.
I'm sharing it so you guys know
aftermarket machines that were actually really good. And, the Pioneer and Sony aftermarket decks were really, really high quality.
El Caminos.
Oh, man.
I call them Trar.
Yeah,
it's a truck car.
It's an ugly goddamn car. It's just an ugly goddamn car, I tell you. And it's not like you can lowrider it. It's just, oh, man. Oh, what a bad idea. But El Camino was actually in production for something like 30 years. So, hey.
Okay, so, hold on. We got input here.
Mm-hmm.
William Daniels.
Bingo. Thank you very much. Yeah. Who at the same time was on a medical show. Yeah.
Stand Elsewhere.
Bingo. So there you go.
Yes.
So he was doing double duty. I always remember William Daniels from The President's Analyst.
Yeah, I was about to say, I just think of
Christmas movie.
If you had the money,
which, if you have not seen, you just
it's the mullet of cars.
Have to see.
President's is the mullet of cars.
Oh man.
Oh god.
We're talking about all of these damn 70s cars. The only one I really thought was really cool was the Dart. Because
the Swill video.
Oh man.
Okay, yeah, you remember Swill too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's just correct.
We always say I keep it simple and I keep it domestic, and people look at us like,
huh?
Do you like? What's wrong with you?
Because then they start doing the pour on the swill, and it's just like taro coming out of there. Using water dredged from the shores of Lake Erie, you know? And then, of course, the penultimate is like, I like mine with a twist.
Mm-hmm.
It's just hilarious, because it's a big takeoff of all that bottled water stuff. Bottled water, according to Penn and Teller, is...
Speaking of a twist.
Bull. So, the fact is it is. The twists are right there.
Right.
Have a twist.
I'm going to have a twist.
Have a twist. Bottled water is kind of ridiculous.
Lemons.
You know what I discovered?
Have a twist.
Our tap water tastes terrible. Yeah, that's no big revelation.
You know what I discovered?
It's reservoir water, and they treat it with a hell of a lot of stuff. It tastes terrible.
Wait,
so
Roxy, you had an El Camino?
Filter it. Mm-hmm.
What?
Ah! There we go. El Camino.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I think if you still have that El Camino, I would send you...
Did you like it?
Yeah, I would send you my last 8-track car player, because you would have to install it. It would be obvious.
His granddad has him on TikTok every so often. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm so glad that we've talked about this, because I'm learning so much.
You know, new information at all times, folks.
Roxanne, did you like your El Camino? I want to know.
The people who have them, I think, really love them.
Gettysburg's ma'am says my grandmother had a gremlin.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God. I love it.
The gremlin, the pacer, and then
my mom had a pacer.
There was a real hot rod AMC too, which is featured in that Bond picture.
My mom had
As a matter of fact, they got a big product placement there. I remember my first sax teacher drove a gremlin. It's a cute little thing.
Sax,
yep.
He said.
Yep, sax. Yes, I said that. But, and then, of course, there is Tim Mayer, sax player, who drives a Pinto. Well, he did. Yeah, that Pinto is probably long gone dead by now. But he did for a long time.
Yeah, Pepper Tree saying it. Doug and I just saw a story of the news about water tasting in Los Angeles.
Los Angeles, of course, has a distinct water problem. The problem is it's in the desert. There is no water.
Oh my gosh.
So they have to keep sucking
loved
it out.
Okay, good.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Okay.
Okay.
I love it.
AMC Hornet.
Thank
you, David. Thank you.
William Shatner had a problem with gremlins.
A slight problem.
You're donating automobile 8-track decks.
But only while flying.
Are you donating automobile 8-track decks?
Do you need one? Let me know.
I'm sure we have one in our basement. We have everything else.
I have one that I could spare, but I really would like it to go to a good home. So let me know, because no one's going to care except you.
I feel like Doug qualifies as good home.
Well, yeah, but only if you need one, because I figure you have 2. So.
Oh no. Errol says, I did see a car uglier than an El Camino. Some guy took a VW Beetle and made a flatbed on the back of Oh my God.
So you could do what? Haul 2 2x4s? I mean, what are you going to haul on the back of a VW? Bug. Man.
Wait, you're cooler.
You're cooler.
You probably have more room on the back of your motorcycle.
We were talking about the fact that, like, when I was young, I was driven around in a Volkswagen Squareback, and the luggage storage on that was like 2 pieces. It was like that wide in the back of the passenger seats. It wasn't much of a car.
The Ford Pinto. Does anyone else remember? Okay, this is another thing I try to find on YouTube. Sometimes YouTube lets you down. I try to find these things that I remember so clearly, and it's not there. You can usually find some like simulacrum, but not it. Saturday Night Live, where it was one of those films that they made, but someone had a lighter that was a Pinto, and like they just picked it up and whacked the back of it on the desk to light their cigarette.
Big gag at the time because, of course, there was an issue.
But it's, but when you search on, Pinto Fireball or whatever, like, I kind of took a deep dive and I couldn't find it. So if you can find it, let me know. Because I thought I was like a 14-year-old babysitter and I thought that was hilarious.
Well, that was a real Ralph Nader thing about the hazardous
a mini Sanford Sun truck.
And I'm wondering at this point in time, was that overstated or was that really the big hazard?
Oh, Sherry's asking, isn't the engine in back of an old Bug?
Yes. It's a rear-mounted engine. Also air-cooled.
What engine?
Rear-mounted engine. So
Okay.
like the engine is actually back there because in the trunk at the front you can put your luggage. That's the only storage you got on a VW Beetle. That was it. Also air-cooled. That was designed to save money. Also designed by...
I know.
Yeah, you know anybody?
I know the
Who designed
answer.
the actual Volkswagen Beetle? Anybody?
Oh, Gettysburg is also saying we had a Chevy Vega for a
Vega!
while. I remember all these cars.
Yep. Great name. Great name.
Woohoo! I remember all these cars.
Kind of car that turns up on episodes of Policewoman with frequency.
Oh,
Mm.
now I want to watch Policewoman too.
Not that they drove such things. They drove these freaking land yachts. It's like the police are like, what, oil crisis? What oil crisis? Here's all the money you need. Gas card, Amoco, boom. Not a big deal.
You have to remove the load to investigate any engine problem on VW. I love it, Errol.
Yeah. Seriously. It was a very simple car that was designed to be mass-produced cheaply, and it did its job admirably. I mean, the history of
Doug
the
is saying the
Beetle.
Pinto was a victim of the change in testing standards.
Boom. Yeah, Phil has pretty much got it. Now, Adolf did not design it, but he authorized it, and yeah.
I know the name. I know. I got Dan. Dan got it. Dan got it. For me, Porsche.
Thank you, Dan.
Yep.
Thank you, Dan. Yeah, it's a Porsche.
I knew that.
The VW Beetle's a Porsche. Freak's sake.
I knew that one.
This was actually designed as the people's car. If you believe in National Socialism, and some people out there still do, who really should be shunted away, then this was what you put your money towards. And you were supposed to get a car out of it. Instead, you got World War II. Not a good idea.
What?
Yeah, that's what happened.
Eric is saying you probably have to buy the actual episode. I would buy the actual episode because I would just download it and then I would have that because I thought that was hilarious. Had to have the quintessential CB radio in there so you could be the Smokey and the Bandit.
Yeah.
We did a trucking movie marathon one day.
Yeah, we did. A long time ago. CB, I completely forgot about CB. That was a huge craze for about 2 or 3 years. And suddenly in your Chevy Vega, you had to have a CB. Like, breaker 19 in your, average, mom car. You're driving around, they're breakering 19. I got a 1014 over there
Breakering?
at the Safeway. Copy,
Breakering 19.
Crazy. Crazy
I
stuff.
almost made some CB ornaments for the new traffic tree.
Well,
Our latest Christmas tree, which I'm so excited about.
Well, traffic, of course, is an endemic part of any trucking operation because you got to actually be able to get through all of that traffic to deliver that load 10-4. Let them truckers roll.
10-4.
So I think that a picture from the actual movie Convoy might be appropriate. Chris Christopherson on
I
the
wasn't
CB.
sure that was completely Christmassy.
We're talking a tree that was inspired by the Garden City, the Garden State.
Yeah.
So the fact is, you got to throw some trucks in there.
Garden Parkway.
Yeah, Parkway. Thank
New
you.
Jersey Turnpike is what you're thinking.
No, I was thinking Garden State.
I do have a Garden State
Definitely
Parkway
Garden State.
ornament that I made.
Yeah.
That's like,
There must be more.
had a little time on my hands this
This
week.
will be revealed in true time, but we'll get this together. We got the
Errol
tree.
says my father was a radio. Oh no, Eric. Eric says my father was radio enthusiast and he had all kinds of CB radio stuff. Oh, I love it.
The radio guys started with, they might have started with the crystal set, and then they did shortwave.
Daniel's parents had a CB
then did
radio.
amateur, and then there was CB.
Oh.
Yeah. Citroen 2CV. Oh, that thing.
Sweet.
Which is basically like the French decide, well, if the Germans can have a Volkswagen, we can have the 2CV. Yeah. Cute little thing.
Kitty's
French
review had a
made.
CB. Happy Thanksgiving, Bill.
Hello. Absolutely.
Kitty's review had a CB.
Fine.
I love it.
It also reminds me of that, there's a Fiat that looks awfully similar, which has that door on the front of the car when you pop it open and get into the thing. We saw it at a car show, as a matter of fact. And it's also featured in a video for Depeche Mode. Is driving that damn I forget that vehicle. That's fascinating. All these tiny little cars in Europe at the time. Yep.
Oh, we might have just found out. Hold on. Coca-Cola. Bite the wax tadpole.
Are we sure that that translation is...
What?
I thought that translation was Toad the Wet Sprocket. Am I wrong? Anyway.
It says he had an antenna that was too powerful. One guy over the air said, "What kind of antenna do you have?" He said, "Why?" And he responded, "You coming back in like what?"
KDKA. Hilarious.
Oh, Lisa says, "I drove a Chevette that didn't have power steering."
Oh.
I drove a car one time. I didn't own it, but I
Yeah.
remember driving my boyfriend's Plymouth. No. Yeah.
A
Plymouth.
Fury?
No.
What do you have?
Falcon.
Falcon.
Was that
oh,
Plymouth?
Falcon. Yeah, Plymouth was
I remember it was a Falcon, and like turning that thing was like, oh, God.
I potentially, the only time I've ever drove without power steering. No, 2 times. I remember driving a Land Rover. Wow, that was rough. And you had to like do all the shifting yourself, right? But I remember driving, I think it was in fact a Falcon, and that was really, you had to have some upper body strength for that damn thing.
It was not a big car.
Damn,
that was the thing.
No,
Like,
it's just a little sedan, and like, wow, I'm just trying to make a turn here, fellas. I guess it's designed to drive in straight lines.
Oh my gosh.
Hot
I
stuff
love
coming
these
through.
conversations that are going on.
We're talking about 1961 era cars. I think I need to do something here. So.
Okay.
Perhaps a little madman action here. A little Don Draper glassware.
We gotta put some Mrs. Butterworth
globes.
in that.
Yeah, well, you know, I would, except that the drink doesn't really demand it.
We don't actually have any Mrs. Butterworth, but
we don't. If you want real maple syrup, we got it. Let's get a few ice cubes in there. Actually, I'm using the wrong one. Here, I have better ice cubes in here.
better ice cubes.
I have the huge cube. There you go. The big rock.
That's a chunk. Oh, wait, okay, hold on. Wait, Roxanne says my first car was a Chevette.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's software-defined USB radios and cheap
Velveteen handhelds.
Oh my gosh. Wow, okay. The little car with the front door was a BMW. Oh, okay. Philip says, I think the little car with the front door was a BMW. It was featured in the Lipton tea commercial.
I was positive it was an Italian make. But,
okay. But
you know something? There's potentially more than one car that had that little front door. It's entirely true. I'm going to throw some cardamom in this.
I love these conversations that are happening amongst yourselves.
Please,
talk amongst
yourselves. I'm going to make a drink over here. I'm going with a real simple thing. I got that big sort of rocks glass, and I got a big rock in there. So there you go. A couple of dashes of this cardamom bitters. If all you got is that Angostura, that's perfectly fine. That's right. Sure thing.
It's a rock.
I'm going to take a strip of the orange peel here. No, lemon peel. And like give that a little bit of essence.
Wait, so
far
you've got bitters and lemon peel.
Yeah, bitters, lemon, and a chunk of ice.
I'm just trying to keep it straight.
Let's actually go with some of this, the gum syrup that I made, right?
Yep.
I'll give that half an ounce of this business. So what we have is some sweet, a little bit of the peel, the bitters, and I could use the rye.
Good thing we got more coming. This is almost gone.
Yowza. I'm about to use up the rye.
Woo! All right.
All right. I will measure this out to make sure I get what I'm interested in. And if there's extra, well, that's just a bonus. 2 ounces worth. And that's almost a perfect pour. Huh.
Oh, there's more?
I will leave the dreg, but we will use that shortly. And that...
Bless us all, everyone.
...is what your father
There's
drank
more.
back in 1970. He said, give me an old-fashioned. He would have been lucky to have gum syrup. Nobody did that at the time. But years before...
I'm pretty sure my father never had gum syrup.
No, that would have been a lot of work. Just for what it was. There we go.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so you're both having conversations about BMW setup. Okay.
Oh, the CBs.
Both Facebook and YouTube are having this conversation.
I used to see CB gear at the thrifts all the time. Lately, I've seen it maybe once in the past 5 years. It doesn't show up too much.
Really? Okay.
I had a train buddy.
Conversations are happening.
I had a train buddy who was in a CB, and he really wanted a linear amplifier. And I found one. And I said, oh, I actually found one. He's like, oh, yeah, you know, Marky. And he didn't really go for it. I'm like, if you want to do it, do it. Just go out there and get that. The equipment is available. It's not a big deal. You know, you want to do amateur radio on like the medium band or what like that kind of thing, you go for it. We'll do short wave, you go for it. We have a machine right here that does short wave. Doesn't work yet. We'll get there. We listen to AM and FM so far.
Hashtag goals.
We do FM broadcasting from here.
Everyone's all about it. Eric says,
that's a good
under
thing.
the right conditions, you could transmit pretty far.
Oh, sure, yeah. The one of the amateur bands, any of the amateur bands have great possibilities.
The BMW said it was made by Iso Rivoli.
Iso Rivoli.
An Italian refrigerator company.
Hilarious.
I love it.
Okay. I'm going to check this out and see what I'm talking about.
I have to dust off my CV and see if it still works. Oh, Gettysburg. I feel like we need to hook up so we can try to receive you.
We can't receive citizens, man.
Well, then never mind.
Well, I can't receive the amateur bands either because we actually don't do that kind of radio. But I can get all sorts of FM.
Wait, Lisa says, I can see the comments from YouTube in the CB radios, and my dad had a CB radio, and I would sneak out to his truck and sing the song, Did You Boogie With Your Baby in the back row of the movie show? Oh my God, that's hilarious. People must be like, who was that?
What? You know? I'm kind of interested myself right now.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh my God, that's so funny.
Kind of hilarious. I mean, we started out talking about turkeys, and here we are talking about driving a big truck down the road.
That's just a live happy hour.
Which still coincides with the Paul Lynn Halloween special because, of course, there's the whole trucking interlude in there, which is just terrifying. So,
yes.
Gotta tell you.
Oh my gosh. Talking about the microwave dishes.
Oh man. Yeah, actually,
crazy.
Transmission is really fascinating. AM radio.
I can't even translate that.
AM radio tends to transmit just like thousands of miles. You can practically receive it around the world, except there's too much interference these days. And FM radio, if it's really overcast, it starts bouncing off of clouds, and you can get that much further.
Bouncing off the satellites.
Yep, bouncing off the satellites. I remember one day thinking to myself, hearing from my radio group online that like you could get AM from like long distances, and I said, I wonder what would happen if I put up a really long antenna. So I got a really long length of wire and just hooked it up to the receiver out back on the AM and saw what I could tune. And I was listening to a station from Buffalo. And it was coming in pretty well. So I thought, well, that's it. That's the classic right there. That's across the state.
I mean, it's not Russia.
It's 8 hours out, so like it's something.
Not close either.
It's not close.
So I'll allow it.
I was impressed. You know, if I got Detroit, I'd say okay. You know, fun stuff is happening there.
I'll allow it.
But there's so much less happening on AM in terms of music that there's less for you to listen to these days, which is too bad. But there's a lot happening in FM for music, so well worth picking up.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so they still do this? Gettysburg Mammothing. I usually just tune in to Channel 19 on the CB, listen to the truckers going up and down the road. So they still do this?
Oh, yeah. CB's whole thing, huh? Hot stuff.
Eric's in Pittsburgh. Oh my gosh.
Distant stations.
I feel like we've just tuned into this little world that I didn't know about.
Ain't it funny how the night moves? You know? late night, actually, AM gets much better because of atmospheric conditions, and suddenly you're just tuning in. You could back in the day, you could tune in Jalisco if you were trying. But those days are probably long gone, and a lot of stations aren't broadcasting with that much power these days, and the quality is pretty terrible. But, you know, you could actually tune in very, very far if you're really trying. It depends what's fun.
I love this.
Yeah, I mean, we actually broadcast here because I've got the FM broadcaster, which goes from the main system out back, so I can go out there grilling and listen to something coming off of the records. And, you know, that's coming in at like an 18th of a watt, so I don't violate FCC transmission standards, blah, blah, blah. But I got the kit for that and built it myself. It's the most complicated kit I've built. It was a lot of fun. It works very well. And it sounds really great. It's just really clear. FM is a lot of fun. I really appreciate the quality coming off of that. One of these days we got to get AM broadcasting going so I can use that cute little radio in the kitchen. So that's a different thing.
Oh, Eric's saying, well, isn't that the purpose of these get-togethers, to introduce new stuff?
100%.
New old stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. And I'm all about it.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. I'm here for it. Lisa says my CB handle used to be Sugarfoot.
Sugarfoot.
The Radio Garden app picks up stations from around the world. It's like listening to the late night AM band again. Oh my gosh, Sherry, thank you.
You know, I think
I love that.
I think somebody hit me to that as a web-based application.
Yeah.
We would just go to the site and hit it, and it was a map, and you could just hit some point on the map, and it would give you the radio from there. I remember when I was saying, like, what's happening in Scotland, what's happening in Croatia, and there's just like just crazy things going on.
I blindly modernize myself. I love that.
In 1935, it was shortwave, and it was the world. In 2021, it is the web, and you still got the world. And maybe you have more happening, maybe you have less happening. I don't know. But it's still fun to listen to what's happening around the world.
Lisa says, I used to know all the codes for the CB. Now the only thing I remember is what's on your 10. What's your 1036?
Your 1036.
It's a rabbit hole. I believe that.
Pirate Radio. Radio Caroline, baby. Yeah.
I remember he was like telling me, like, try to tune in Velveteen Lounge. And I think I was like a block away. I'm like, I can't get it.
Because I was broadcasting and she could pull it in the car.
He's like, pull it in. I'm like, I'm not hearing a thing. But
yeah. I was able to get it as far away as the supermarket. I'm just saying. It's not that far, I know. But I remember trying because we were broadcasting there. I still broadcast. Send it back. You have to have a better receiver, though. I mean, I can receive on half of the machines in the house, but not the other half.
Just go about your business.
Yep. Yeah, please do what you're doing. Pardon? The various methods of broadcast and tape transmission that were available to you at the time, some of which are still viable. I mean, FM radio is still going strong. I listen every day. Well, you actually pull it off the antenna.
Pump up the volume. That's what I was looking at.
Oh.
Pump up the volume.
Everything about pump up.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I might need to watch that again.
Yeah. That's a fun one. Absolutely about radio broadcasting. Certainly about pirate radio broadcasting. Mm-hmm.
Get through. Ma'am says my CB handle is F1 for Formula One. Oh, you drove. I love that. Oh.
Big fun.
I love this. Are you trying to signal me?
No, but is it that time?
No, I thought maybe you were trying to signal me.
No. The B&W Isetta. Okay. Oh, Phil actually nailed that.
Oh, yeah. Now I got to watch that video.
We'll take a look and see if that's what I'm talking about. It's a cute little thing. It's a ridiculously compact little thing, like these little cars.
Compact.
You have to do that at the time.
Bad, naughty people. Paul's a bad, naughty person.
What has been done? I'm not a pirate radio station.
Sure. Telling yourself that.
My neighbor could probably receive me, but he's not doing it. So, and our other neighbors moved out, so now we have blank empty space over there. If anybody wants to move next door,
More space for a radio station.
house right there. Just saying. But no, we're talking about a lot of fun subjects tonight.
We are.
Starting with dropping turkeys from a helicopter.
God is my witness. I thought turkeys could fly.
They can, as long as they're wild turkeys.
Very low to the ground.
Very, very low. I'm just saying.
Low to the ground.
Different things happen.
Oh, Lisa says, my dad used to play his guitar at church, and one night his amplifier picked up a CB broadcast when the pastor was talking. Oh.
I remember in my apartment,
I love that.
I think it was a third apartment in Brooklyn, I used to pick up broadcasts from the car service cars. Really loud.
Really?
It
Wait,
was
what
really
was this
annoying. I remember actually getting in touch with
On
the
the radio?
FCC about that. And it was like, well, there wasn't much they could do about that. I was like, ugh.
But wait, hold on. Back up.
What?
Was this...
It's on the radio.
But it wasn't like a...
Yeah, just listen to the radio and I have to
Okay, so it wasn't
car
like
service
a
cars.
ham radio or anything.
Yeah, because it was just amateur
Okay.
car transmissions coming over and it was interfering with my FM. Now, those transmissions are FM radio, but they were probably broadcasting a little wideband. So it kind of nipped me in the bud. And there wasn't a lot I could do about that at the time. Today, I would probably get a better filter and it would probably work just fine. Or I could get something that would actually like block their transmissions and completely screw them up and then they'd learn a lesson or two. But I remember that specifically. It was a lot of noise.
Angry. That seems
a lot of noise.
Outside the spirit.
Well, you know, you got a lot of interference in New York City.
So I just mixed up a bunch of bitters.
I can see that.
I'm not going to add booze to this. I just mixed up a bunch of bitters and some fresh lemon juice. I did cranberry bitters.
Bitters, lemon, and...
cocoa bitters.
And bubbles?
Orange bitters.
Mm.
Yeah. And some lemon juice and some bubbles.
Well, that sounds like all kinds of fun.
Yeah. So, I didn't booze it up all the way. Wait, Sherry says, we lived relatively near an AM station's large towers. We could hear the radio over the phone. Oh my gosh, over the phone.
Oh, yeah.
Sadly, we didn't care for WSAM.
Otherwise, you would have said, hey, free radio. Well,
exactly.
You know.
Hi, Lisa.
Hey, Lisa.
Good to see you.
So good to see you here.
Happy Thanksgiving.
To everybody here and to you, too. We've been broadcasting for a few hours, talking to people about various and sundry subjects, but we all know that
this is good.
Within a day, we're all talking about overindulgence on food because the harvest is in. That's the whole point of the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And we will be doing the same, and then we'll keep doing it because.
I gave myself a Christmas season challenge, which if you're in the Velveteen Lounge Kitchen VIP room, you might have seen, but people keep posting these Jell-O molds that are all lit up, but they're not edible. I'm like, I want to do an edible lit up Jell-O mold. It's going to be my challenge for the Christmas season.
That should be possible.
Should.
There's a really simple way to do that.
Don't say it.
I'm not going to say it.
Because
I got thinking about it, and it should be possible. Oh yeah, there's a really simple way to do that.
All right. Well, good. I'm glad to hear it.
Oh, so good.
I'm glad to hear this will be simple.
Yeah. Please.
Oh, Lisa. Well, I'm glad you're here. Thank you.
Hey, I miss you, turkey, too. I'm just saying.
Wait, Errol says we had a party line many years back. I was never in a party line situation. But I'm so curious.
That's very 1940s of you.
I know.
back in the day. I've heard various
Elizabeth,
interference
happy
over
Thanksgiving
telephone
to you.
lines from time to time. It was an accident. But in terms of broadcast, yeah, the worst I heard was in Brooklyn, where I just got like horrible interference. And it was just from the car service cars. They were just coming in at all times, interfering with what I was trying to listen to. You need better filtration. I'm just saying.
So you lodged a certain complaint?
No, I realized that I could complain and it wouldn't go anywhere. So I said, oh, what's the point? I lived with it for a while. But I really wanted to find like something that would jam their transmissions to just show them a lesson. You know?
Cool. Even dumbbell party lines. Oh, okay. That's hilarious.
Hello.
It lit up. Edible chillable. That's crazy talk. I'm up for the challenge.
You can't do it. You can't do it.
Yeah, Lisa had a party line. Oh, okay.
We'll help
Love
her do
it.
it.
All right, is it
Big one.
time?
It's about that time.
All
well,
right,
folks.
I think it's time. We've been here almost 2 hours.
Yeah, it's been a good couple hours here with you. Pre-Thanksgiving, but
Yes.
wow, within hours it will be time to fire up that oven and
For whatever you're making.
insert that bird
Or tofurkey or whatever.
or the ham or the roast or the brisket. What the hell are you making? You know, you could be making, if you're vegetarian, you're making a huge number of sides because that's what you eat and it's fantastic food.
Sidesgiving.
Yeah, sides given.
I've seen it called.
If you are making a presentation meat, you got your pick. You could make a bison, for God's sakes. Take your pick. It doesn't matter. You can be much more conventional and do the bird. You could do the turkey. You could do a chicken. You could do a goose. A goose. Now, that's a fun idea. How about duck? A couple of ducks for Thanksgiving. Who's done that lately? It's doable. It's fun. It's good. Really, really good. You do a roast if you want. You probably don't do lamb because that's associated with a different holiday.
Oh, mashed potatoes. Okay, Amy's got to make a green bean casserole. Yes.
Bingo.
Mashed potatoes are done.
We have not done mashed yet, but you have done the green beans.
I have done the green beans.
In the freezer.
Yep. I got
Whatever.
the sweet potatoes are done.
Sweets are done.
Yep.
I
Yep.
need to actually step up and actually do the stuffing because I typically do that. And I
will make the cornbread for you.
Oh, thank you.
I'll make your cornbread, baby.
Oh. I usually do the cranberries, but you did them, so that's good.
Oh my gosh.
There
Thank you,
are
everyone.
so
Oh, braised short
many
ribs,
things to do.
Elizabeth.
Whoa! I love
Yes.
that variation. That's awesome.
Christy says presentation meat.
Presentation meat.
You'll be having more than one presentation meat.
You might just, you don't know.
Okay.
You know, some people just say, sod all of this, I'm just going to do a bunch of steaks for Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving
Well,
to you guys.
It works.
We
It
love
works.
you all so much.
If you read the original literature, you'll find that they probably had turkeys because they were abundant, but that the natives actually brought a bunch of deer. So, figure on that.
Think about that.
Deer meat. Nobody does that, but that's the original Thanksgiving right there. Folks, it's so
Yes.
great that you could join us before a holiday, before so many people are coming over and you're going to be very occupied and you can't
Or
possibly
you're going
join us.
somewhere, you know.
But you did, and I'm thankful that you could do that. And that we could entertain you for a couple hours and talk about everything.
And you entertained us, too.
And you entertain us. Anything you have questions about, just send it our way. If you'd like to support us, Patreon is the way to go. If you ever have any questions about that, just drop us a line. We'll let you know. Not a big deal. We've been supporting Feeding America for this season. We are still doing so if you'd like to donate to such things because people are still hungry. And that's about it.
That's about it.
That's about it. Blah, 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 blah. We will undoubtedly drop in on a little live action on the weekend because
Apple
of
cider donuts.
fun.
Oh, apple cider donuts. Yes, please.
Oh, Amy made lobster. We make lobster.
Lobster. Oh, it's yummy.
It's a good idea.
Oh, well.
You don't say.
Love you guys so much.
I'm so glad you could be here tonight.
I'm trying to catch up on your comments.
I know. It's rough stuff.
Love to you guys.
Whatever you are doing, wherever you are, and whoever you are with, we are all thankful that we could do it and be here and enjoy each other's company on a day like today. When the weather is pretty good. And we still have our wits about us and our health.
Still our wits about us. Aww.
But wherever you are and wherever you go, you always know that we...
The Pilgrims made it.